So 2025 is wrapping up, and let's be honest, the world of cyber threats has been, well, a bit of a roller coaster. Today, we're going to dive deep and really unpack what's been going on, using the late-year Byer Nichols threat brief as our map. We'll look at who the big players are, who they're hitting, and some of the frankly scary new tools in their arsenal. As the year starts to wind down, you kind of hope things will quiet down, right? You hope that maybe, just maybe, even the bad guys decide to take a little time off for the holidays. It's a nice thought, isn't it? Yeah, well, the data tells a very different story. The brief doesn't mince words here, saying the reality is, well, not very comforting at all. Victim counts stayed high, new vulnerabilities were being exploited left and right, so no, they did not take a holiday break. Not even close. All right, so where do we even begin with all this? Let's start with the 800-pound gorilla in the room, ransomware. Because right now, there's one group that is just in a league of its own. I mean, just look at these numbers. The Keelan Group is behind more than a fifth of all ransomware attacks we're seeing. To put that in perspective, that's way ahead of massive names like Lockbit. They aren't just winning the race, they're lapping the competition. And what does that kind of dominance look like in the real world? It looks like this. Over 1,000 victims posted to their leak site by the end of December. This isn't some small-time operation. This is an industrial-scale machine, just churning out victims day after day. Okay, so with that many attacks happening, you have to ask, who are they hitting? Who's the typical target here? Let's build a profile. First up, let's talk industry. Manufacturing is getting hit the hardest, with construction and retail right behind. And if you think about it, that makes perfect sense, right? These are all sectors where any downtime means the real world grinds to a halt. Assembly lines stop, building projects freeze, and shelves go empty. That gives attackers a ton of leverage. Now, let's look at this geographically. And wow, it is not even close. The United States is the target for over 42% of all victims. That is more than the next 7 countries on the list combined. The economic motivation couldn't be more crystal clear. But here's the stat that might actually surprise you. While we hear a lot about the big-name corporate breaches, the data shows something else entirely. Over 83% of the victims are small businesses. We're talking companies with 500 employees or less. They are the real engine powering this whole criminal economy. So we know who they're hitting. But how are they managing to get in? Time and time again. Well, the tactics are changing, and they're getting a lot sneakier. It's less about kicking down the front door and more about having a key to the back. The whole philosophy of attack is shifting right under our feet. It's not just about bypassing security anymore. The new battleground is about corrupting the very foundations of our digital defenses. They want to turn the systems we trust into weapons against us. So what does that mean in practice? It means your firewall, the very thing meant to keep bad guys out, is now their primary way in. It means they're targeting your infrastructure management tools, even legitimate software update systems. The things we rely on for security are now the biggest targets. Now, to pull off these kinds of attacks, you need some pretty sophisticated tools. So let's pop the hood and take a look at the malware that's making all of this possible. This right here shows the evolution perfectly. On one hand, you have old-school backdoors like PlugX. They were kind of loud, a little clumsy, and easier for security tools to spot. But then you have the new stuff, like ToneShell. This thing is a ghost. It's designed to make all its malicious traffic look like perfectly normal, encrypted web browsing. It's smart, it's flexible, and it was built from the ground up with one single goal: don't get caught. And don't think for a second this is just a corporate problem. Take a look at Selec. This is an Android Trojan that gets bundled into apps that look totally fine on the Google Play Store. But the moment it's on your phone, it's game over. The attacker can literally watch your screen, log every button you press, and turn on your mic and camera. And for all you Apple users who might be feeling a little smug right now, not so fast. Mac Sync Stealer is built specifically to beat Apple's security by playing by its rules. It looks like a legitimate, signed and notarized app, so it sails right past Gatekeeper. And once it's running, it's going after your browser credentials and crypto wallet. And finally, there's Gotchi Loader. It's written with modern web tech, which helps it blend in, and it uses some really clever new ways to hide from security software. But the way it spreads is so 2025. It's being distributed through links in the descriptions of videos on hacked YouTube channels, preying on people looking for things like pirated software. Okay, I know. After hearing all of that, it's really easy to feel, well,
pretty defeated. The threats are advanced, they're everywhere, and they're always changing. But that's not the end of the story. Because it is absolutely crucial to remember that this is not a one-way street. The defenders are out there and they are fighting back, hard. And we're seeing some major wins. A recent Interpol operation, for instance, managed to create decryption tools for 6 different ransomware families. It also led to hundreds of arrests and the takedown of crypto exchanges these groups were using to launder their money. These are significant, real-world blows to the bad guys. So where does all this leave us? The old model of security, building a bigger wall, it just doesn't cut it anymore when the attackers are targeting the very bricks in that wall. It forces us all to step back and ask a much tougher question. In a world where you can't even take your own firewall for granted, what does it truly mean to trust our digital systems? And how in the world do we start to rebuild that trust from the ground up?